years was that this person would get away with it.
Within days of her father's murder, police charged 3 people in his beating death. Good police work, social media, and the community pieced it together. Good evening. Rob and Cami are off tonight. Investigators say the 2 men beat Carl Engel to death in his home during a robbery while the woman acted as a lookout.
Bloody evidence they tried to destroy. That was a smoking gun, but finding that evidence started with a resident who called the cops about something suspicious. Local 12's Deborah Dixon shows us how that evidence came together.
Carl Engel's son calls them the faces of evil. Mario Lewis, James Kirby, and Chastity Brewer, all charged in his father's beating death. The men were inside, Chastity the lookout, for what was supposed to be a robbery. Police say when Carl came home in the middle of it, he was bludgeoned to death. The first evidence that tied them together came up the day before.
We received a call from a resident about 3:30 in the morning stating that there was something burning over here in the cemetery.
Police found clothes burning at St. Mary's Cemetery and a couple walking down the street. The man took off running. It was Chastity Brewer and Mario Lewis. She denied being in the cemetery.
The officer noticed her shoes, and they were damp, and they had grass clippings and leaves on them, which you wouldn't have picked up on the sidewalk. So at that point, he arrested her for trespassing.
This is where St. Bernard police officers found bloody clothes burning. They had no idea where it came from for 12 hours when the same cop who was here ended up at a murder scene. A bloody murder scene not far from the cemetery.
That's where we were going to start because what we believed was blood on the clothing that was recovered unburned amongst the ashes. It looked like blood.
The couple charged with trespassing now become suspects. Facebook fills in the blanks.
Doing some Facebook, we find out that Chastity is engaged to James Kirby.
Carl let James Kirby's ex-girlfriend stay in the upstairs bedroom when she was going through hard times. Now the trio is linked to each other and to murder. Carl's children say they are indebted to the police department.
At least gives us the ability to start the healing process, knowing that they're not still out there, that they're not enjoying the freedoms that they took from our father.
When you deliberately and repeatedly, brutally beat a 73-year-old man to death, you need to have your life taken from you.
Brian Engel said his father always tried to help people going through tough times. He chooses to measure his father by how he lived rather than the horrible way he died. Deborah Dixon, Local 12 News.